transferred using underwater glass fiber optic cables using pulses of light. The speed of light traveling through glass in current fiber optic cables has a higher latency than what is expected for Starlink satellites. Starlink satellites will transmit data between satellites using lasers. The system uses the speed of light in a vacuum as a transfer speed compared to the speed of light in glass for fiber optic cables. This gives Starlink a competitive advantage with a much lower latency than current long distance fiber optic transmissions, which a lot of companies and organizations are going to be willing to pay for. So, how will Starlink actually work? The first 60 Starlink satellites were launched on May 23rd, 2019, on a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. SpaceX has already launched more than 350 satellites into low Earth orbit in 6 batches, and the most recent batch of 60 satellites was launched in March of 2020. SpaceX has around 12,000 satellites planned to be deployed, with a later extension that could increase up to as many as 42,000 satellites. To put this into perspective, only around 2,000 satellites currently orbit Earth, and only around 9,000 have ever been launched, according to the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs. This mega constellation will blanket the Earth, and SpaceX claims that anyone will be able to connect to the high speed, low latency network. As I mentioned earlier, Starlink satellites will transmit data between satellites using lasers through the vacuum of space. What makes this so great is that light moves through the vacuum of space about 47% faster than it can through solid fiber optic glass. Current fiber is expensive to lay, and relying on ground cables leaves many regions poorly connected. Current satellites used for internet service, such as the ones used by companies like HughesNet, the company that everyone loves almost as much as Spectrum, these satellites orbit 22,236 miles above a particular spot on Earth. In comparison, Starlink satellites will have an orbital height of around 340 miles, which is